Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We're going to start again.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tan.
Thank you. Okay,
Good afternoon, Mr. Tan.
thank you. Now, we're going to move on now. Just finish out this module. Now, the next thing is on the high availability management server, right? You can set up high availability management server. Definitely is for service continuity, right? So that in case one of the management server go down, you can still access the management database from another management server, right? So high availability, right? For service continuity. Then of course integrity of the database. So in a HA pair, in a high availability pair for the management server, the management database is replicated, right? So the management database are maintained on both the management server, on both the management server. Okay, that can follow? And definitely is meant for disaster recovery, as I mentioned, right? And when one go down, you still will be able to continue, you still will be able to manage, right? Using the surviving management server, right? And your configuration will still be there because the database is replicated, right? So this is to give you a more an overview about HA management server. So in HA management server is a pair of management server. So it's a pair. One server will be the master, another one will be the hot standby. The database are replicated. So all your IPAM, DNS, DHCP configuration database are replicated, right? The hot standby is read-only. Now you have two management server. You will have two management IP address. So you have a management IP address for the master. You have the management IP address for the hot standby. So if you use the management IP address of the master, you will be able to manage you will be able to modify, right? The configuration database. So means that you will be able to use the master to manage all the DNS, DHCP, IPAM services. But if you connect to the management IP address of the hot standby, yes, you still can log in the same, no different. But the thing is, it's read-only. You can't do anything except viewing only. So you can see everything. You can see all the object, right, of the different service, but you cannot modify. You cannot modify, you cannot add, you cannot delete. So because it's two server, it's a pair, that each server have its own management IP address. So if you go to the hot standby, it's read-only. Okay. They do have a health check. So between the master and the hot standby, you have a heartbeat. So they do have a heartbeat, right, to detect failure. Right. So here is to give you the HA architecture. You can see you have a master, you have a hot standby, right? So these are the management server, right? So you have the master with the IPAM, and of course you also have the hot standby with the IPAM and the management database. So look at that, the management database is replicated, and you have the health check. You will see the health check later on. So the hot standby will be able to detect that the master is down. Fine, through the heartbeat. Now, with this management server, right, you will be able to manage the remote DNS and DHCP server. Right? So these are the remote DNS solid server, remote DHCP solid server, right? Or other vendor DNS DHCP server. Okay? Okay, good. So the hot standby is read only. Now, so some prerequisite before you set up HA, the two solid server must have the same version. The two solid server must have the same version. Fine. And you should not have a time difference, no time drift. Okay. Yeah. That's why it's good that you can configure NTP. You can use NTP time service to synchronize the time of the two management server. At the beginning, there's no HA, right? So you need to install an additional management server. So you need to deploy an additional management server. So currently, you already have the management server in production, managing the remote DNS DHCP, right? So now if you want to add a HA, you need to deploy a new management server, which is a new solid server, same version, right? Yeah. Okay, so here, these are the steps you need to do in order to set it up. And it's very straightforward. Yeah, it's very straightforward. Now, you already learned how to set up the centralized management, isn't it? In the first day, you already learned how to set up the centralized management. So on the management server, you can centralize manage the remote DNS solid server and also remote DHCP solid server, right? Yeah. You're going to do the same thing for the management, for the second management server. So on the first management server, you're going to add the second management server, right? For centralized management. So you add the second management server into the first management server so that you can centralize manage it from the first management server, right? After that, you just have to turn on HA, right? Yeah, you just have to turn on HA by selecting the second management server. And that's all. That's all you have to do. We will talk about the width later on, but width is optional. Okay, so here is to show you. So you will go into the centralized management of the first management server. So this is on the first management server. At the moment, it's still standalone. It's still standalone because you haven't added HA yet. Now you have to ensure the management server, right? Yeah, have a management IP address to reach the remote management 2 server. You see, normally these are what you need to do for centralized management, right? I believe it's already selected. It's already selected. So to do this, right, you will just go to the tool menu and you will just configure local solid server and you pick one of the management IP address of the management 1 solid server so that this is the IP address that it can use to talk to management server 2 and other remote solid server that you want to centralize manage, right? I believe this is already done. At the moment, it's a standalone, isn't it? Right? Yeah. Okay. Now, you're going to add the second management server. So on the centralized management page of management 1 server, you're going to add the second. You see that? Yeah. So this is added now. And at the moment, you can see once it's added, management 2 is still standalone. Management 1 is still standalone. So it means that you have just added, you haven't configured them to be a HA, right? And you can see management 2 is remotely managed. So you can remotely manage management 2, just that they are not a HA pair yet. An important thing to note before you make them HA, they should not have a time drift, 0, 0, which means no time difference. Okay, that? Yeah, 20 seconds. 20 seconds is an allowance. So your time diff cannot be more than 20 seconds. Okay, right? So once the second management server is added to management 1 for centralized management, then you will be able to select management 2, go to the edit menu, and you will select enroll as hot standby. Then you get this warning message. Okay, yeah. So they are telling you, if you're going to make this management 2 as a hot standby, the existing configuration database in management 2 will be erased. And it will be replaced by the management database of management server 1. Because they need to replicate, right? They replicate the management database from management 1 to management 2. So when you add the second management server as a hot standby, the existing management database on the second management server will be erased. And it will be replaced by the management database of management server 1. Okay? Yeah. So that is the warning they give you. Okay? Yeah. And they will tell you it will become read-only. Right? Yeah. So that's all you have to do. Now it will be a HA now. See? So if you look at after you have done it, you can see that one is a master, one is a hot standby now. They have a common UUID because they are treated like a single device. So that's why they have a common UUID, hardware UUID. Okay? Don't worry, it's system generated. Are you clear with that? Yeah. So just to tell you, they will have the same UUID because it's treated as a single device. Right? Now, you also have this information, last write period. Now, this is not, it's good for you to understand what is this last write. Last write means when is the last update? When is the last update from the master? Is it okay? Right? So if you look at this is the hot standby, right? Hot standby is 0 days, 0 hours, 0 minute, right? Where it receive update from the master. So means that, yeah. So means that there's no lagging of replication the database. See? Yeah. So when is the last update? Right? The hot standby received from the master. When is the last update? If you see this is 1 day, 1D means the hot standby have not received update from the master for 1 day. So means that, what does it mean? It means that the management database on the hot standby will be outdated for 1 day. Okay? Yeah. So this thing, right, normally should not have a big number. Are you clear with that? Even though the network are busy, right? Yeah, this should not be a big number. Right? Here is to show you the amount of update need to be written to the hot standby. The amount of update, right, in kilobyte, they need to be written to the hot standby management database. Right? So that is the offset. Oh, yeah. So if you see important thing, as I say, is the last update period, right? If this number is big, means the management database, right? Or you can the configuration database on the hot standby is outdated. Okay. Fine. Now, so if you go to the hot standby using the management IP address of the hot standby, if you go in, you will see this banner. You will see this banner. So they will tell you it's read-only. You can see everything. You can see everything, but you can't modify. So the hot standby is read-only. Okay. Fine. Now, here is to update. This is to let you know. If you have a HA management server, right? If you want to perform restore, right? Okay, I want to restore the configuration database. I want to restore the management server. So if you want to perform restore on the management server, or definitely on the master, right? Yeah, you need to disable the HA first. Fine, yeah. To disable the HA is very simple. You just have to delete the hot standby from the centralized management. So go to the master, centralized management page, and then you just delete the hot standby. Once you delete the hot standby, the replication will stop. The database of the hot standby will be back up in the hot standby, and then it will be erased. Okay? Yeah. So now the hot standby becomes standalone. Are you clear? And then now you will be able to go to the master, right? I mean, the master also becomes standalone, right? Yeah. Now you can go to the master and perform the restore. After you perform the restore, you just have to add the hot standby back. Just add it back. Then they will resynchronize the database. Okay, so this is just to highlight, if you need to restore the master, you need to disable the HA, right? And then after that, you perform the restore on the master. After the restore on the master, recreate or re-add, basically re-add the hot standby, like what you have learned just now, right? Like what you have learned just now here. Fine, yeah. Okay, good. So here is to show you how you can delete. So now you can see it's a master and hot standby. So if you want to remove the hot standby, you will just go and select the hot standby, which is management tool, and click on delete. Right? So once you delete, they give you the warning, right? Because they're going to erase the database. After that, right? Yeah. After that, you can see here. So this will be the result. They will become this is before. Oh, here. Good. That's why I'm clicking looking. Yeah, after you have delete, then you can see now management tool is gone. Right? And then you can see the master, the management one now is no longer a master. It's become hot standby. Fine. Yeah. So if you go to management tool now, you will see management tool is hot standby also. Right? Yeah. So once you have done this, you can perform the restore. After the restore, remember to add management tool and make management tool a hot standby. Okay? Okay. And also you realize that the UUID change because it go back to standalone. Standalone means it's another device now. So the new device ID will be generated automatically. Okay, that? Yeah. So when you add the management tool and make it a hot standby, then they will use this UUID after you set them out as a HA. Oh, okay, good. So here is to show you this is some of the command you can perform on the master. This is some of the command you can perform on the master appliance. Okay, yeah. Remember, this is on the master. You will be able to force synchronization of the file system, right? From the master to the hot standby. So these are some of the these are actually some of the database file, right? To be synchronized from the master to the hot standby, right? Configure local, you already learned. This is to select a management IP address used for centralized management, right? And then you can, and also you have learned this, you can enroll a hot standby. Are you clear? So these are things you already learned. Fine. Now, in a hot standby, okay? So if you go to your hot standby, centralized management, you will be able to reset the solid server to be standalone. So if you want to force the hot standby to become standalone, you can go to the centralized management, right? And then you can force it. Okay. And you can manually switch over, or manually switch the local solid server to be the master. So this is a manual switchover. You can configure auto switchover. When the master is down, the hot standby can automatically switch over. But of course, if you want, you can also force it, manually switch over. Okay. Now, here is for the health check process, right? From the hot standby, between the master and the hot standby. So they're showing you the health check process. And the health check process, right, have the counter where you can control. So they have the counter. They don't call it the counter, they call it registry. So let's look at what are the registry for the health check that you can configure. First of all, you have the registry module system hot standby maximum replication lag. So maximum replication lag. So here, this counter, or you can say this registry, define how long, right? If the hot standby never receive update from the master, right? Then they will go into health check. How long? For hot standby, how long in terms of how long the hot standby never receive from the master, never receive update from the master, right? Then the hot standby will go to health check. So the lag by default is 60 seconds. So if hot standby never receive any update from the master for 60 seconds, right? For more than 60 seconds, then they will go into health check now. So that is the first one, replication lag. A lag of 60 seconds. Then hot standby will verify the master. So how does hot standby verify the master? Hot standby will send status check. So hot standby will send a status check because it don't receive any replication for 60 minutes. So they will send the first status check. And then it will wait for 4 seconds. If the hot standby never receive a reply from the master, right, for more than 4 seconds, then that will be a timeout. Right? Counted one time. Okay? Yeah. Then you have a sleep. Right? So the hot standby will sleep for 4 seconds. See? So first of all, yeah, the hot standby send the first health check. Wait for 4 seconds. Right? If the master never reply within 4 seconds, then the hot standby go to sleep for 4 seconds. After 4 seconds sleep, then they send the second health check. Wait for 4 seconds, then sleep for 4 seconds, right? Yeah, when still have no reply, then they send the third health check. So they will only perform retrial 3 times. Each retrial is around 8 seconds. Right? Yeah. So they will only perform the retrial 3 times. Then they can switch over. Okay? Can follow? Yeah. So these are the counter, or you can say these are the registry that you can set. By default, I just read the blue line, all right? The blue one, because it's a long one. I'm not going to read the long registry name. I just shortcut it. Maximum replication lag, right, is 60 seconds. Connection timeout is, right, yeah, 4 seconds. Sleep, 4 seconds. and then switch registry 3 seconds. Oh, so if you look into here, this is just to summarize it now. So you have the lag 60 seconds by default. You have the connection timeout 4 seconds. You have the sleep 4 seconds, and you have the retrial 3. Oh, now for the hot standby to switch over, the maximum time required is 84 seconds. 84 seconds. Okay? Yeah, because the master never update the hot standby for 60 seconds. Then the hot standby send a health check. Wait for 4 seconds. Sleep for 4 seconds. And this thing repeat 3 times. Right? Yeah. Then only the switch over. Right? So the duration is around 84 seconds. By default. This registry key can be changed. If not, you can manually perform the switchover. You can manually perform the switchover. Remember, you have seen that, right? Yeah. Okay, now there is the 5th registry key for you to turn on auto switchover. For you to turn on auto switchover. By default, auto switchover is turned off. So this registry key, module system maximum hot standby time skill, is set to -1 by default. Switchover is by default disabled. Right? Now, if you want an automatic switchover after 48 seconds, then you have to set a positive number for the skill. Look at that. This is a hot standby skill. Not the numbers of seconds, not the numbers of seconds to wait for switchover, no. So this is actually the skill. So you're going to enter a positive number. So imagine, the number is in seconds. Imagine if you enter 1 hour. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds. So imagine you enter this value. The value you enter is a positive 3,600. So means that the switchover will only be automatic if the last write period, remember the last write period? Is less than 1 hour. They will only perform the auto switchover if the last write period is less than 1 hour. Right? If the last write is greater than 1 hour, they will never switch over. Why? What is the last write period? Last write period define how long the hot standby never receive update from the master. How long? So if the hot standby never receive update from the master for more than 1 hour, the configuration database in the hot standby might be outdated, might be stale. So you don't want to switch over. Okay, so that is the positive number you set. The positive number is to match the last write period. Are you clear? Okay. So how do you set the registry? On the management server, on the master management server, go to the admin home, go to expert registry database. Search for it. Search for hot standby. Search the name. It's a long list. It's a very long list. So you can search for the name hot standby and you can see all this. The 5 registry key, and you can set it accordingly. Just have to click on the hyperlink to set the value. Okay? Fine. So this is how you control the switchover, right? And you also can control the health check. If not, by default, it's 84 seconds. 84 seconds, yeah, 84 seconds. Fine. Now, we're going to talk about what is a WIF now. So you can create a WIF for the management, for the HA management HA. Right? Now, you know that the master management server have its own management IP, right? The hot standby management server also have its own management IP. So you have to use different IP to go to master or hot standby. See? So means that during production, if my master go down, I can never reach the master using the master management IP. You see? Right? So, but the standby took over. The standby already took over. But I'm still connecting to the master management IP because that is the IP I always use. Right? But now I can't reach the master management IP because it's down. And the hot standby already take over. Switch over. See? So I will need to use the hot standby management IP now to continue the management, to continue the administration. Isn't it? Sometimes it might be confusing, right? So that's why you might want to create a WIF, a virtual IP. A virtual IP for the HAP, right? And the virtual IP will float between the master and the hot standby. It will float. The virtual IP for HA will always stay with the master. Will always stay with the master. Right? So if you look into this example here, so you create a WIF for the HFA. Now the WIF will be with the master because it's a floating IP. So the IP will be now on the network card of the master, a network port of the master. Right? So anyone that connect to the WIF IP, right? It will go to the master. See? Now when the master go down, okay, then of course the standby become master, right? Then the WIF will stay with the new master. So the WIF will automatically fed over, to the new master. That is a WIF. So you can see here, using the WIF, the advantage is I always use the same management IP to manage my solid server. Even the master go down, the WIF is still reachable because the WIF will also be fed over to the new master. Right? Yeah. The WIF is optional, but of course, which is good if you can set it up. Fine. Yeah. So how do you set up the WIF? The WIF is one thing about using the WIF, the two management server must be on the same layer 2 network. Yeah, right. It makes sense, right? Because when it fed over, the IP address of the WIF will fed over to the new master. So the WIF will still be on the WIF will still be on the same layer 2 so that it can be reached by the management host. Okay, right? So now how to set it up? To set up this thing, okay, anyway, I don't think they show you. Let me just show you here. Okay, now for you to configure the WIF, right? Currently, this is what I have inside here. Can I make it slightly bigger or already big? Okay. Oh, so currently I have the management 1, management 2, isn't it? Correct? Yeah. So I can actually make this enroll this as a hot standby. Yeah, and then I will click on OK. Okay, so I should have the two things. This one don't look good to me. Version, platform. This thing not showing. Yeah, so here is a master and a hot standby. It's a screen, right? So they become a master and a hot standby. Fine? Yeah. So anyway, what I want to show you here is actually to show you setting up the width. So to set up the width, you go to network, right? So now I'm on management 1, right? I'm on management 1, management 2. Just make it. Right? So I'm on management 1. Okay, I can go and configure my width now on the management LAN, right? Then over here, this is the management LAN using EM0. Then next, and now I will be able to create a width for solid server management. So width service, right? For solid server management. You can create width service for the different network service like DNS, NTP, FTP, right? Now I'm creating the width for management server. Okay, now you give an IP address. Maybe I leave it as 10.1.0.1222, right? The mask is 255.255.255.0. And then you will enter a VID. Maybe I leave it as 123, and then the password 12345. So I will be able to add. See? So you add a width. Now for the VID and also the password, make sure you enter the same thing. Right? So I already create the width on the master. Then I click on next. Fine. Okay, IPv6 no. Okay. So now I'm going to actually apply the config, because you can see they never applied the config yet until you applied it. Okay, after that you click on OK. So you can see here, this is the master, because management 1 is the master. So now the IP address is actually attached to the master. Now you can go to management 2 now. See that? You can go to management 2, you repeat the same thing. You go to the network interface, and then you go to next. You enter the same thing, 10.1.0.222, right? 255. And this is actually for the management. And then you add, and then you click on next. Okay. Then again, we're going to apply the configuration. Okay. This is the master with 1, 2, 3 priority law state. This one is also the master. Something is wrong. 10.1.0, 10.1.0.255. And the 1.0 priority. Let's see, did I enter anything wrong? Nothing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put a 5. Okay. No. Okay, let me do the final check. If not, let me troubleshoot it later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll check what's wrong with it later on. The results should come out like this. See, one is the master, and then one will become the backup. Okay, I will troubleshoot it. I don't want to waste time on that first. Okay, so yeah, so that is where you can create the width. Fine. Now, the width, as I say, it will follow the master. So if the master go down, the hot standby become the new master, then the width will follow the new master. Are you clear with that? Right? So the width will fed over. Now you can also create a width for the network service, for DNS, for TFTP, for NTP. Oh, now commonly maybe for DNS. Is it okay? Can follow? Yeah. So you can see over here, you have two name server, NS1, NS2. Right? So this is actually the IP address of NS1 where the client can send query. This is also another IP address for NS2 where the client can send the DNS query. Right? So if you want to actually use the two DNS server, right, so that you can share a common IP, then you can assign the width. See, so when you create a width for the two NS1 and NS2, for both the NS1 and NS2, you will have a width IP address where the client can send the query to. So when the client send the query to using the width IP address, it will go to one of the server. When you configure the width for DNS, you can choose the priority. You can choose the priority. Maybe I can show you. Okay. So if I'm going to configure a width, right? So I go into my network management. I'm going to configure a width for DNS, right? You will be able to set the priority. For DNS server, width for DNS server, you can set the priority. Are you clear with that? Yeah. Not like the management, solid server management, don't need to set priority because the width follow the master. Right? So when you set DHCP server, then you have to pick the priority. So one will be high, medium, low. Right? Now the width will follow the high. So means that, okay, over here, if I actually set the priority for, for the width is high on NS1 and is actually low in NS2, then the width will be with NS1. Any query sent to 10.8.0.128, it will go to NS1. You see? Yeah, the query will never go to NS2 because NS1, right, the width is configured to have high priority. In NS2 is low. Right? Now, if you want to load share traffic, for the two DNS server using width, right? Then of course the best choice to do it is do it this way. So you create two width. Width number one, right? NS1 is high priority, NS2 is low priority. Width number two, NS2 is high priority, right? NS1 is low priority. Okay? Yeah. So now, if both NS1 and NS2 is working, then of course both the width, right? If the client send query to width 1, it go to NS1. When the client send query to width 2, it go to NS2. Isn't it? Yeah. But when NS1 is down, both the width will go to NS2. Like both the width will stay with NS2. So the client will still query the same IP address. Right? And it will be answered by NS2. So on the client side, they do not have to change the IP address for the name server. Okay, clear? Fine. This is to show you the widely used architecture. So you have you normally if you are using Solid Server, you will have a HA or management server. So you have a master hot standby with a WIF, right? Now for your DNS server, again you will have multiple DNS server, and you're going to manage it using the smart architecture master and slave or STEL. Okay, and you also can use the WIF for DNS. Fine, and then you can also manage the DHCP server or using the smart architecture one-to-one. Of course, you can't use WIF, right? You can't use WIF for DHCP. So no WIF for DHCP. So this is the common architecture, right? So that you have high availability for the management server, high availability for your DNS, high availability for your DHCP. Okay. Yeah, over here you can try out the lab, you can set up the HA, you can perform the backup, try out the backup, and then try to restore, right? For the HA management. So you can work on this lab, right? So I will give you 15 minutes. Any questions? Okay, if not, yeah. So we're going to start again at 3:40.